we're going to get started on fixing the brakes finally. Previous video, I had ground the brakes down to an embarrassing level, destroying one of the pistons in the brake caliper. On the driver's side, left side of the rig here. So I got that brake line tied up. Got a new piston here. Get my parts generally from Cheap Cycle Parts. So I've got a new part here, and that includes, doing this one-handed here, the new piston and the two seals, so that I can take that guy apart, put it back together. I've got new brake pads for it. We'll get this wheel off of here, and then she should be ready for the riding season. Won't happen today. I got to replace the brakes on my wife's machine. Same, it's just a blue, it's a 2017 700, and then got to change the oil in them here before riding season as well. So do those two things another day. Today we're just doing the repair on this brake. So let's get to it. Alright, so we got this guy tied up. Kind of see what that looks like on that piston there. For the record, there's not supposed to be a ledge there. It's kind of embarrassing. So we'll get this guy torn apart and show you what's going on. Okay, to get this apart, see there's a little bit of brake fluid in there yet. Obviously, there's a fair amount of dirt we got to get out of there. That's got to be perfectly clean. This guy takes a 12 millimeter. There's a slide in here that threads in that uses a 5 millimeter hex head, and then there's a standard screwdriver. It's like a cap that threads in there, keeps the dust out. It's actually really kind of nice. So I'm going to get this guy off, and then we're going to get this guy cleaned out, brushed off, that sort of thing, so that I can get, you can see there's two seals in there. There's a thin one on the outer edge, and then there's a thicker one. The new kit has new seals, so we're going to get this all flushed out, cleaned out, and then we really just have to snap that new piston back in there, and then bleed the system, put the new brake pads on, and we're good to go. Alright, it's not perfect. You'll see inside there, it's pretty clean. I'll wipe that out with some shop towels. And just for the record, I did this just with a bunch of hot water in my laundry sink. Cleaned the laundry sink out after I was done, just to make sure it doesn't get on clothes and whatnot. But the guys like me that, or gals that don't have a parts washer, you can just use water. Just make sure this is all dry. That water will boil otherwise when you try to use the brakes. And it just creates a mess. So I'm going to dry that out, and then I'm just going to use my fingernails and try to pull those seals out of there. If I can't, I'm going to do the best I can to not mar that surface. And I've got some dental picks that I use for some of this stuff to just pluck those seals out of there. Slap the new seals in there and fill her up with some brake fluid, and we'll drain the system. Alright, I actually didn't even need to get the dental pick. I just grabbed the edge of those both with that needle nose plier And got the bottom of that guy. There's one little speck of dust that just flew in there. Got that guy cleaned out. I'm gonna replace those seals. And I'm gonna slide that piston all the way in there. Should be pretty straightforward. Alright, once you have those seals in there, you want to make sure that they're not twisted at all. What I found easiest for me was I just kind of held it in there. I fed it into the back here first, and then just used a finger to slowly seat it all the way around. And then you want to make sure that that top seal has those ribs. The bottom seal is the thicker of the two. And they're in there, and then I'm just going to slide the brand new piston. Okay, I didn't realize it at the time, but the window's pretty bad right here. Basically, all I was trying to say is don't force this piston in there. Lube it up with some brake fluid. Make sure it goes in there as gently as you can, and try not to tear or damage those seals. Alright, took a little bit more coaxing than I liked, but it's in there. I did end up having to use a C-clamp just to kind of force it in there, and I actually ended up in a scenario where there was a little bit of fluid built up in the channel leading to this, and it didn't want to go. So once I unscrewed this, there's enough air pressure in there, it just came shooting out. But so just beware, you need to open this guy here up here too. Even though the back was open, it was a little odd, but we got her in there. She slides smooth in and out now. Now I'm gonna reassemble the whole thing, and then we can get to bleeding the brakes. Okay, skipping forward a little bit. My new brake pads. This is aligned so that this is going in. The curve on this guy he goes in, so he's a little protected. There is a little copper gasket you need to make sure you get on there. Make sure that slide piece, you thread this guy back in that hole there. Otherwise, you get cruft in there, and it'll be harder to get it out next time. There we go. And I just seated it that far, and then it kind of fits snug. So the next step is to reattach this banjo nut and get the copper piece. That copper piece goes between this and the caliper itself, so just make sure that gets done accordingly. Alright, got that banjo nut back on there. There's a copper gasket on both sides, pointed up, it's bending in. We're going to open up that valve here in a minute. Kind of lets the brake fluid flow through here. We've got those slides aligned. I put some grease on the slides, just not a ton, just enough so that they don't make a ton of noise. Alright, so we got this guy back on. He was fully extended. He'll go back in there when we're all done. We're going to fill this up with some .4 brake fluid and then just slowly pump these brakes. I'm going to go open the bleed valve on the one side over here. I've got the cover off, but I'm going to open that guy up. And that way that brake fluid should flow down there pretty smoothly. And then we'll have to bleed the other side as well, because both sides are effectively empty. Alright, we're going to slowly pour some of this. Fill up that reservoir, probably a little too far. And I'm going to pump it. See that air coming up? This might take forever. I'm gonna go grab my vacuum bleed. Alright, so we're gonna open this up and you'll see a bunch of air bubbles come up out of there. Then as soon as we stop seeing that, we close it off and we pump the brakes a few more times and just keep doing that. So we're not getting any air up here. So we'll wander back around. We're gonna open that guy up. Okay. Just see brake fluid. So I might need to actually pull the other side off and look at it. I'll come back.
20 minutes later.
Alright, I got tired of that. So I actually ended up pulling out my brake vacuum. So the way that works is it allows you to actually suck fluid down. It's got a little reservoir there. You can see all the air bubbles. That line was empty, so it was all air. It made short work. I ended up pumping probably 2 of those containers worth down there. I think they're well, 1.5, I guess. And you could just see all the air coming out of that hose. And I've got it closed right now. And you could see it going down, so I'm kind of letting it rest. But I could force it, but I'm actually getting brake pressure here now. So I'm gonna let this sit for a minute. Top that off, plug that up, and I think we're good. And then I'll bleed them again. I just run it around the cul-de-sac here for a minute, and then I'll bleed them again. I can bleed these with the wheels on, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, all right. Before I put the wheels and such on, I decided to check the rear brake caliper or master cylinder. And I just want to show you what this looks like. So you can see, and that guy over there, you can see the fluid. And this guy, you really can't. So I pulled him off. And you can see from when I replaced the brakes on that guy, it's obviously a little empty as well. So as long as I got the fluid and stuff out, I will put him back together. Come on, you piece of crap. There we go. Set him down. Top this guy off. You got to leave some room in there for a piece of rubber. But we got that there. We will throw this back on. We'll throw the cover back on. As long as you got it apart, you might as well check what you got going on. And we will screw him back down. You don't have to get crazy with these things. Well, you can see a tiny little pin prick of a hole there. They're designed to let a little bit of air in so that diaphragm can deflate. Really, you're just holding the fluid in there. You don't have to get crazy on how tight these are. Trust me, you'll save yourself some grief later. So, all right, I'll bottle that guy back up, wipe off the seat, put some cat litter down, get that tire back on here, and we'll take her for a little spin. Oakley dokley. Got it bled one more time. I just rode it around the yard here, opened up the gates. It's not super solid. It does stop the machine though at speed. I took it out on the pavement and just made sure she slows everything down. I'll probably bleed it a couple more times as I ride it, and then just keep an eye on my fluid levels. So obviously we can see, maybe you can't, yeah, that min level there, and that min level there. So we're good to go there. Just if you didn't watch the first video, that is my mistake. This is the top edge where that piston cylinder should be. And obviously I ground that thing down by a solid 1/4 inch. So obviously I need to pay better attention. I thought I just had dirt in the brakes, but quite obvious that that wasn't the case. So there she is with the new tires on her. Brakes are ready to go. I've got one cover plate around here somewhere. I'm thinking about buying some different skid plates. These plastic ones just don't seem to hold up very well. They keep coming off. Well, she's all ready for the season. And good to go. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that other fun stuff that everybody tells you to do. As long as you enjoy my videos, I don't really care. Take care.